welcome to LifeTalk for June 1st, 2017. I'm Mark Crutcher.
And I'm Renee Hobbs. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, I got to say something. This is going to be the last show we do before Saturday's a big day for me. Do you know what Saturday is?
Saturday's a big deal for you.
Big day for me.
I don't know.
You hadn't thought about it. June 3rd.
June 3rd. Oh, it's your anniversary.
It's my anniversary. I will be married 46 years.
That is such an awesome thing. It's such a great example to set for our young kids.
46 years.
Yes.
You know?
That's awesome.
I think we would all agree, I've said this before, that girl hit a home run.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't we all agree with that?
I bet she would disagree with that.
No, she doesn't. She agrees.
Well, you know what?
Right.
We've talked.
She's right up there. She's here
yes,
today.
Yeah, right. She just made comment on this.
46 years ago, June 3rd, I got involved in holy deadlock, and here I am, all these years later.
And then all of these conversations that we have had, she is your everything.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And you couldn't do life without her.
You know, two things about that, being married that long. And I've told you this before in all seriousness. If someone asks me right now, what's the thing that I am most proud to tell people of? It's not that I used to be in Golden Gloves, boxing Golden Gloves, or race motorcycles, or jump out of airplanes, or all the other idiocy that I've done in my life. The things that I'm most proud of is that I've been married 46 years.
That's right.
Because it's not that many people nowadays. Right. You'll find a lot of people that have married 46 years, but they've been married 46 years to 3 different people.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Right.
And, you know, you remember when we had a young man working here some time ago, and at that point I'd been married about 40 years or 41 years or something. He was asking me what was the key to being married, because he hadn't been married that long. You remember Leroy?
Yeah.
Hadn't been married that long at that point. He said, what's the key to being married 46 years or 40 years at that time? And I said, it's very simple. You marry your trophy wife first. If you're a guy and you marry your trophy wife first, you skip a lot of grief.
Okay.
Isn't that right?
I think Tim would probably agree with that. He better agree with that.
Tim is her long-suffering husband. But that's true. You marry your trophy wife first.
That's right.
And then you just put that aside and go on about your business.
Yes.
And get engaged in holy deadlock and continue forward.
You got who you want. You're happy.
You just go forward.
You work things out throughout your marriage.
Right. Or you just agree that you can't work things out and you just acquiesce to whatever it is. But anyway.
Okay.
So June 3rd, come Saturday.
Very good.
Yep.
Well, happy anniversary to you too.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. On the internet right now, there's a lot of discussion about fetal pain.
Yes.
Lots of it.
Right.
And a couple of points need to be made. First off, let's make sure people understand, fetal pain is not a marker for when life begins.
No, it's not.
Life begins before fetal pain can be proven.
That's right, yeah.
So a living human being is created at the moment of fertilization. And I am absolutely convinced that at the moment of fertilization, that new human life probably does not feel pain at that moment.
No.
But at some moment between then, and we know they feel pain at birth, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's how they get babies to start breathing. They slap them on their little bottoms, and the pain causes them to start breathing. Right. So we know they feel pain at birth. So sometime between fertilization and birth, pain exists.
That's right.
Right. But prior to that point, they're still a living human being.
Yeah.
And that's the point we need to...
That is the point that we need to be making.
And
there has been studies of when it could start and when the brain develops in the spinal cord. And I mean, it's all science.
And it's debatable, you know, and you can have, I showed you when you first came to work here, a study, I think from England, where they had found researchers there, legitimate, not agenda-driven researcher, but legitimate medical researchers had discovered and concluded that unborn children can feel pain well into the first trimester. I mean, well back into the first trimester. Less than 8 weeks is what they were saying.
At the beginning.
Right. And now you'll have other people come out here and say, no, we don't believe they feel pain until they're 24 weeks or 28 weeks or whatever it might be. None of them can prove their point is the problem.
Yeah.
But here's the issue that's most important to understand, is that the difference between, first off, we're not the one, the pro-life side is not the ones that's taking action here. Our position is you leave those babies alone.
We try to protect them.
Right, we protect them, say just leave them alone and let them be born. The other side is the one that's taking the action.
We
right?
want to kill.
We're going to kill those babies. If we all agree that at some point during the gestational stage, fetal pain does exist, it's not up to us to prove when it starts because we're not doing anything. It's up to them to prove when it doesn't start.
Right.
So the pro-aborts come out here and say, well, you can't prove when fetal pain starts. So therefore, abortion right up to the moment of birth should be legal. But we know at birth the pain exists. So it's up to them. Morally, it's up to them to say, here's the proof that fetal pain does not exist prior to this point, so therefore abortion prior to that point is okay.
Right.
They don't do that, and they can't do it, and they'll never be able to do it.
Well, to me, this is kind of like the heartbeat bill, is when the heartbeat is detected, the murder, there's no murder whatsoever. I think it's kind of like that when fetal pain is detected, then there should be no abortion whatsoever. There should be no abortion, period. That's not what I'm saying, but
from their standpoint.
Yeah.
From their standpoint.
Right.
But they won't do that because they know that the science favors us.
Right.
And you know, we've talked about this before. Sometimes you'll hear people called Holocaust deniers or science deniers or those. There's no bigger group of science deniers and Holocaust deniers on the face of the planet than the pro-choice crowd. They are the biggest deniers.
Right.
So, you know, and I've challenged them before. I said, look, why don't we call, back when we used to have debates on abortion, this is many, many years ago. I'd say, why don't we call a moratorium on abortion until we can all agree when all these circumstances exist, when life begins, because surely you don't, if you're pro-abortion, surely you don't want to kill a human being, right? You wouldn't want to do that.
That's not the way they think, but...
Well, they don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the point. And so, like I said, they are the science deniers. They're not willing to let this issue rest on the science and the biology and the medicine. They're not willing to do that.
Right.
The main problem they've got is you can't find a medical textbook anywhere on the face of the planet that says life begins at any time other than the moment of fertilization.
Right.
That's when the new human life is created.
Right.
And basically, if for no other reason, that's when life begins because that's the only time it can begin. Because if you say it begins at 10 weeks or 12 weeks or 18 weeks.
And they say that it doesn't begin until after birth.
Right. Then what you're saying is that prior to that, there was nothing there.
Right.
Well, how do we have these sonogram images of nothing? Right?
Yeah.
You can have a sonogram image of a 4-week-old baby, and you're saying life hasn't begun yet, so there's nothing there. Well, what is that a picture of?
Yeah. Right.
So these people are the science deniers, and in this case, the Holocaust deniers. They're the biggest Holocaust deniers in the world, and they're worse than the people that deny the Nazi Holocaust. Because what they're doing is they're denying a Holocaust that they're participating in and that's going on right now. Not one that ended 50 or 60 years ago.
Yeah.
One that's happening right this
now.
minute in their country and their participants in it. They're worse than any Nazi Holocaust denier.
Yeah, and they're denying it.
Right.
Yeah.
They're worse than any of these people.
Yep.
But fetal pain is a legitimate issue for the pro-life side to raise. But let's make sure we don't let that become our standard for saying that's when life begins, because that's not when life begins. Life begins prior to that.
Right.
So we got to make sure that we need to be pushing this because it pushes the pro-aborts into having to defend an indefensible position. But again, that's not when life begins, and it's very important that we draw that distinction.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Agreed.
You got anything else?
Nope,
Renee?
nothing else. Just give us your questions or comments.
Yep.
Same old thing.
Whatever. That's how this show came about.
That's how the show came. Yeah. Yep. It was.
We were told this would be a good subject to talk about today, so we looked on the internet and you found a lot of places, and you even sparked a little drama today when you joined in.
Yeah, a little bit.
The pro-aborts attack you, and anyway, that's all the time we have. Remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you next time.